Christ is born. Christos rождается. I was having dinner with Father Miron and Marcella, and the time went by, and so they said, would you like to come to church? And I said, well, that would be nice. So here I am, truly blessed to be with you this evening. The story of the Magi, these kings or astrologers or whoever they were, these knowledgeable people who see a star and start to follow it. And again, we Byzantines celebrate that today. In the Western Church, they wait till January the 6th. But it is the manifestation of God to His people that we celebrate in this day of Christmas. And it's a very special experience that we actually, I think, are probably more pro-life, because we say that God has been with us for 9 months already. You know? But He shows Himself on Christmas. And here are these astrologers who come to see this God. Could you imagine yourself, either a king or a professor in the university who is going, a man of stature, who is going to go this distance and be told he has to go to this little village? And not only this little village, but he goes out to a cave to find this God. And when he gets to the cave, it's not a king. It's a baby. This is unacceptable, except for their faith. They see in this baby a God who is so powerful, so overreaching, uncontainable, contained now in the arms of a woman who had been contained in the womb of this woman for 9 months, an uncontainable contained. Hard for anybody to accept. But these knowledgeable people, these people who have studied a lot and have come now to find God in a baby. And shepherds, they see shepherds there. These are the people who couldn't find another job. They're out on the fields. Well, what are they doing? Well, all they do is kind of watch sheep go from field to field and try to shoo away any kind of dangers. They have no knowledge of the Bible. They have nothing. And here they are. Why? And not only them, but there's an oxen and an ass, a donkey there too, worshiping this God who is a baby. And we wonder why God became a human being as a baby. He could easily have been incarnated, as in many religions, God, according to them, is incarnated into an adult and is presented to the people. But this God incarnates as a baby so that everyone may approach Him. What shepherd would ever approach a king or even the CEO of some great corporation, or even an adult who kind of scares you a little bit. But no, God wants us all to approach Him. He wants to be with us, as we sang in that great hymn, God is with us. He's not with us at a distance. He is right in our midst. He comes into the very person of one of us. This Virgin Mother. I often tell the nuns out at Christ the Bridegroom, I said, okay, you want to be called mother? Be mother. Reflect the motherhood of Mary, who as a virgin gives birth to God, holds within yourself this God, and let Him live within you. And hopefully they can model for the rest of us this presence of God in our midst, that we're not afraid to hold Him, not afraid to accept Him into our lives, as we do in Holy Communion. This beautiful God, this wonderful God, who saves us, not just by His death on the cross, but by His incarnation and His life that progresses with time. And He tells us, that's how you will be saved, with this progression. It's not a once for all. It's a slow building. It's a slow growing into God. The saints tell us we go from God to God. We come from God, and slowly we grow into Him, into His very life. I went looking for some Christmas music to listen to, and I ended up going back to Perry Como, have to admit. And I listened to him sing this "O Little Town of Bethlehem." What a beautiful little hymn. And it says in this hymn, the hopes and fears of all the years are met in you tonight. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in you. And so the hopes and fears of 2016 and 2017 are met in this baby, this God. He takes our fears. He takes our hope. He is our hope. There is hope. We see the things going on around us, and we wonder, is there any hope? Can we really turn around the way the world is going today? The terrorism in Berlin, who would ever have thought? Or in the various cities of the United States that we see. The attacks on Christianity. We see it in the Middle East and we think, well, that's the Middle East. But we know that it's everywhere, and it can be everywhere. And I don't mean to emphasize or to intensify your fears, but you should be afraid of these things. But those fears are met with hope because God is with us. He is with us, and not at a distance, kind of directing, telling us what to do and what not to do, as some kind of a judge or a president or an organizer. He is with us, within us, among us. He is this baby who has come to be us. He has accepted humanity in every aspect of it. And so every one of us, the little babies, can go to him and identify with him. Those of us who are older and see him walking around the palace, Judea, without a bed to sleep in, and trusting in God, can identify with him. And those of us who are older and realizing, and now finally, that death is not too far in the future, we too can identify with him. For he is with us. God is with us. He directs us. He helps us on this journey. The fears that we may have, let us indeed turn them over to God. Let us realize that we do have hope, for he is the hope of the world. He can be this hope of the world without an army. He can do it without riches. He can do it without anything. He can do it as a baby who will progress through life as we progress through life as well. Each year we celebrate in a very special way that Christ is born. And we say it in the present tense. We don't say Christ was born. And we don't celebrate his birthday. We say, oh yeah, this is the 2016th birthday of Christ. No, he is born today. He is born every day. He is born in us. And indeed, the response is, let us indeed glorify him. Christ is born.
Glorify him.
Christos rождается.
Slavete Jeho.
Christ is born.
Glorify him.